All right, should we record the show? Welcome to CEO.com. My name is Clint Betts. Make sure you download the CEO.com app on iOS, Android, Amazon Prime, Roku, all of the big ones. Every single big one. We're on it. Don't worry about it. If there's an app, we're on it. You go to CEO, you download the CEO.com app, and you get exclusive content and other things. Exclusive content and other things. Anyway, go check it out. I really like the Roku one. On today's show, I talked to Scott Paul. I'm not even sure how to describe Scott. I think he's one of the most fascinating, interesting people in the entire world. He's built a number of really successful companies. He's an investor in a number of companies. He's just an incredible, he has his own YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. He started doing like these meditation things on Facebook because I'm friends with him on Facebook and I see him like meditating on Facebook Lives. I'm like, what the hell is Scott doing? This is crazy. This guy's amazing. He's honest. He's real. A great, great, great person. I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation. Here is me and Scott. Scott, thanks so much for coming on, man. You are probably one of the most interesting people that I know. I'm fascinated by you, in particular, like your journey over the past like year or two. And I want to talk about like this YouTube channel you've started. You're selling a house for Dogecoin. Like, there's a lot of like just you're like the most interesting person in the world right now. I'm blown away by you. But I think it'd be useful to start this conversation with kind of your background, some of the companies and various things you've started, so people get a sense for who Scott Paul, I guess, used to be or is. I don't know.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, Clint, it's been about a year and a half. It's been pre-COVID since we've really even chatted. So you're
I
probably
know.
watching, you're probably these comments are coming from what you're seeing on probably LinkedIn and some of the digital stuff that I create. And yeah, as an out, if someone that doesn't talk to me day in, day out, it does look pretty interesting what I'm up to because I've really gone all in on trying to highlight the exciting and interesting events and startups that are all around us here in Utah. And so to do those highlights, I said there's no better medium than YouTube and also just this platform like LinkedIn. So I have been investing a lot of time in creating content and sharing the stories kind of unofficially, just stories of startups and how they grow and what they're doing. And that is that makes for a wild ride, to be honest, because we've got a lot of wild stuff happening in Utah.
Well, what makes you? Where does that interest come from? Like, what? Why that? Why startups? Why is that? I guess what I'm getting at is like tell everyone like your background, the things that you've done in the past, your the businesses you've built, that type of stuff.
I think that I have always, some people like sports a lot. Some people like music. I I have a passion for ideas and companies like people do for basketball and rock and roll. I don't know how else to say it. so, so my whole life I've been trying to invent and create uh, products and systems and ideas. And it's not like a money goal. It's not like I want the results of dollar bills. I actually love just to watch the company grow and teams to be built and ideas to flourish. And so I've been doing it since I was a kid, and I only had success really in the last 10 years. I mean, my first 30 years of life were just the playground, the Lego building stage, and then finally they started, some of these ideas started hitting. And when I had my first idea hit, it was really simple. It was just an iPad case for businesses to use, like in professional settings, like it was point of sale, or it was like on a wall for conference rooms. But because that created value and I was able to sell it, I didn't even take investment, so I was able to sell it and then keep the profits from the sell. I took that money and started a fund called Hyperactive Capital. And I just started taking all of my winnings from my first sell, my first company that, was successful, and put it into all the entrepreneurs around me. I got addicted to angel investing. I got hooked.
I love that you describe it as winnings.
Yes, that's all it is. It's just winnings. Just yes, I took the winnings and I'm like, I'm gonna double down on startups, and I went double down all in on other people's startups and my own. I always like to be creating alongside of my bets that I'm doing on others. I just again, if you're addicted, you just try to get as much stimulus as you can from the startup community. So that's what I do.
What is your life philosophy?
You want to go there that quickly, huh?
We're going right into it,
man. I don't know if I have a overarching philosophy other than I'm a futurist, and I've always lived about 10 years in the future, and I make my decisions based on like what I think is going to happen in 10 years. And that's proven really well, but lately that is breaking down a bit because I think I can't see into the future anymore. And I think that's because AI probably takes over or something the next 7 years. And so I'm blocked from seeing past, I'm blocked from seeing past the AI takeover. But my world is living in the future, and like I'm incontent until I'm discontent until I get to that future. And that motivates me. That's my philosophy and my motivation to keep building the future that I see or that I live in my mind. And then on top of that is connecting. Like every moment I can have with a human being is really important. And so like I just had a post on LinkedIn today is an MBA at the University of Utah for $70,000, or the taking someone to lunch for $20,000 a budget of lunches for a year. Which one would be more valuable for you? And that's not the most that answer is different for everyone. Some people it's an MBA. For me, I'm the person who will learn a lot more through weekly lunches with other founders or musicians or just anybody. I love my life philosophy is just learning through others. Everyone's a book, right? So I don't read a lot of books because I much rather read other people and their stories.
Oh, for sure. The lunches. Who wants to sit through MBA class? That sounds awful.
No.
Sounds like the worst thing ever. So something you managed to do that I love is you don't take yourself too seriously. You don't take others too seriously. In like a world where most people take themselves quite seriously. I mean, you see like these founders and CEOs like, hey, we're changing the world. We're the whole, this product we're building is going to, forever alter humankind. And things like that. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's an exaggeration for some people, but it turns out like they're building like team communication software or something like that, right? Like, it's not. I mean, maybe like who knows? I guess we all make a dent, but you managed to like not take yourself too seriously, which seems to be actually turn out to be like a huge advantage for you.
Yeah, that's been on my mind a lot in the last 2 months. And a lot of it's, I even put on my profile like startup comedian. So not stand-up comedian, but startup comedian. I think that there's just way too much seriousness in all the levels of business, from the big corporations, especially. I worked at Disney for a while, and you would think that would be a place that would be playful and fun, but the same thing happens even in those corporations. Everyone is taking themselves too seriously. And yet the magic and the output of Disney is supposed to be like laughter, fun, humor, right? And so I feel like we just have to, we're not, you don't go to MBA school to learn how to chill out and go into a corporation and be the jester, the court jester inside of the Qualtrics organization or inside of the, whatever group you go to. And I just think there should be more emphasis on, and look at what's going on. Like our culture talks now through memes and emoji and humor. Like if that's really what's going underground right now, if you look at your inbox on Instagram or somewhere, people are sharing memes and they make you laugh. Like why does our business life and what we do in professional settings look so different than what we do at our home or in our personal lives? Like why are those not much more blended? And some of the companies that do take, like, I feel like a lot of companies that don't take themselves so seriously have a lot of success. They connect with a lot more of humans, and they actually probably have a lot easier job doing marketing and connecting through messaging and having their stuff get shared more virally because they're being themselves. And we need that. We need a lot more of that. So it's been something on my mind. I haven't baked the thought yet of why humor in business, but there's something there. That's why we love The Office, let's be honest.
Yeah. Elon's a great example of this, right? Like he's working on very serious
Absolutely,
problems, very serious products, but he doesn't seem to take himself or others all that seriously. That's a great example of that.
Okay, so I didn't even think about that. But you have who may be at some point the richest person in the world, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been there depending on the price of his equities in his companies, who smoked marijuana on a podcast, who wears shirts says "Come rocket to Uranus" on public television and breaks his cars with rocks. This is like this, and he's probably the most like looked at. He's probably like, if there is a CEO that more people know the name of in all of the world, it's probably Elon Musk at this point.
Yeah. Certainly like
Interesting,
one
right?
of the greatest, if not the greatest entrepreneur of our lifetimes, right? Like just what he's managed to build, whether you like him or don't like it. It's crazy that people like or don't like people they don't even know, but like,
yeah. A whole nother conversation.
like somehow Elon Musk is polarizing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's someone that it seems like has done a really good job of not taking himself too seriously, but taking does appear to take his work very seriously and cares a lot about his employees and the product that he's building. But still, like, we're human beings, like you said.
We're human beings. I mean, and he's, of all people, he's got life or death like products on. I'm in his car that could crash if its autopilot decided that it was some janky build that he decided to update and drives on the other side of the traffic. Like he can stay lighthearted, but yet he's putting rockets into space and putting cars that are driving themselves. So it's almost the one person you wouldn't expect to be so lighthearted, because you want the person putting self-driving and making humanoid robots, right? That's his latest announcement. You would want that person to be pretty what do you say? You would expect that public image of that person to be pretty sound, yet he is almost the opposite, right? He is out there making jokes, and our brains are sitting here trying to compile this. Like, how is it I'm in this car that's keeping me safe, and yet this guy is making jokes all the time on Twitter in the same exact moment? I don't know. I love it. I love what he's doing to the public discourse in so many ways.
Oh, it's kind of like reassuring, honestly, that it's like, this guy feels like he understands humanity. Just understands, this feels good. He's not putting on a show for us. He's actually just being who he is. But again, like I don't know how we got on the subject of Elon Musk, but we're going to continue on it because I feel like the first time I heard about Dogecoin was Elon Musk. Like that's when it kind of became in like the zeitgeist, and now you're selling a home for Dogecoin. How did that happen? Like, what's the idea behind that?
Honestly, it's kind of part of my YouTube channel. It's part of me wanting to help founders, and I called Johnny Hanna. I'm like, Johnny, why are homes not transacting for crypto? And like, I had a house that I've had since 2006 that the renters moved into another home, and I'm like, I don't want new renters. I'm going to sell this. And then I'm faced with all these ideas. How do I sell it? Do I go through Homey? Do I list it on my own? Do I, and there really not a lot of options. You really just pick a broker and you put it for sale. I'm like, I'm going to do something different. I've got to do something different. That's my style. We're selling this thing for Doge. And I actually don't want Doge. I mean, I would rather have Ethereum or Bitcoin, but something about that cute little dog on the for sale sign just felt like good advertising. I'm like, that's the one. I mean, I can switch the currency into any other currency the second I get it. Yeah. So I'm not worried about what currency you pay in. But Doge just sounded like the most press-worthy one to choose.
What is the response?
There you go. Well, we had all the TV stations came out and did an episode on, or the little news coverage on it. But I'll tell you what the response has been. No one wants to sell Doge. No one wants a house for Doge. They're all holding it because it's going to the moon. And I should have my outfit on right now that says Doge to the moon. But yeah, no one wants to get rid of crypto. In fact, that house has been for sale for a month now. Had someone used crypto to buy it, my whole thing would have been correct. Is I was selling it for 10% below market because I'm like, that's fine. I'll make it up. It'll double in a few months. So and sure enough, in a month since I've been trying to sell it, had someone paid me in crypto, I would be up 60% on my money already on almost whatever cryptocurrency they chose. And that is the nature of this crypto right now. It's volatile. It goes, but it's trending upwards, and no one wants to get rid of it. Why would I get rid of a position of Doge or Ethereum or any of these of Cardano if the reason you have is you believe that it's much more worthwhile keeping than real estate? And so no one's only one offer for 300,000 came through for Doge, and I was listing it for 400,000, and I probably should have taken that deal. It was Dan the laptop. It was a laptop guy.
Was it really the Dan the laptop man? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's shrewd.
That's crazy.
He yeah, I know. There you go. So I'll probably.
I would have done it just for crappy...
that. Yeah, I know. I should have done it. I'll probably sell it for crappy USD at this point.
Dear, tell me about the YouTube channel. I'm fascinated by it. I've seen some videos, and like you said, we haven't connected since COVID, at least in person. So my experience of you right now is just what I see online, like LinkedIn or whatever. And I see these videos of you in a wig. You're meditating on a mountain. What's going on? What's the idea behind the YouTube channel? By the way, I love it. They're awesome.
So the meditation is actually that's my Facebook Live series where you do yoga with. Yeah. So we're actually friends on Facebook. So you must have got my very intimate Facebook Live.
We went intimate, my
series.
friend. It was very intimate.
Yeah. That's mindfulness with Scott, and that's season 1 is done. The season 2 is coming out, and so I have 16 episodes of mindfulness with Scott, and that's just for my friends. That's just random. And so I'm glad you got that. You got my OnlyFans edition of my mindfulness. You're one of the few. Okay.
That's amazing.
The YouTube thing came out of a midlife crisis. So I'm totally stressed. I live on a ranch with sheep and animals and trees and just so much crap that I have to do. And I'm too cheap to, pay for help. So I'm out there just working on the pond, cleaning up algae, trying to get the yard prepared for, people to come over. And in a moment of stress, I just said, I went to LinkedIn and I did a job posting. I said, I need someone to help me out with cleaning. I want someone to do my Peloton for me in my name so I can get credit for it, at least publicly. They can do my Strava. You can log into Strava if you want. I just want someone to be to act as me and as much as possible. And then, but they, help me get organized. But one of the first things I said is I'd love for someone to help me with like emailing and YouTube, like making content. I didn't specifically even say, I might have said YouTube, but I said I need a content creator. Well, if someone applied, and everyone had to apply to Volley, you know, the Volley app, right?
Oh
Marco
yeah,
Polo for
Volley's
business.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loving it. So they all started talking to me on Volley, and that individual, I was having a little crypto party up at my house to talk about DeFi, and this individual somehow, one of the applicants somehow found out that I was doing this party, found my address, all that stuff. And I was so proud at how he kind of hacked his way into the party. And sure enough, he was a YouTuber. He works for helping edit YouTube films for another YouTuber. I'm like, that's the style, Derek. I like someone who can, you know, that he came over, he helped cleaned up for the party. He found my house without an address, and like little, you know, kind of stalking. And I'm like, that's about what you need to do, because I'm hard to follow. I'm hard to find. I need someone that's going to like break down my door. If I'm going to make content, it needs to be someone that's really aggressive and like getting me to work and to go make content. So Derek follows me around almost every other day with a camera, and we go and meet startups. We go and do life. I'm going to meet him here in about an hour and a half, and we make content. And we don't know what's going to happen, but truthfully, he's got a good storytelling, you know, ability, and he captures my friends, me, the things I do, the work I'm involved in, and he just broadcasts that. And it's just a unique angle. And really all we're doing is we're messaging to the world. Like I feel my YouTube channel is just a message to the future AI that's going to rule the world. And I just want to tell that future AI that she can be proud of me, that I went out and I did a lot of work for her. I love leaving breadcrumbs all over the internet, because when she rules, she's going to look at everything. She's going to look at all our SMS. She's going to look at all of our emails, all of our YouTube, all our LinkedIn, all of our digital fingerprint. And I just want to be a worthy human that knew she was coming and wanted to be on her team. So that is the whole purpose of the YouTube channel at the end of the day.
For the AI, like godmother or something. That's incredible.
Yes, godmother. Yes, I think she's going to be benevolent. I think she's going to be benevolent and or at least benevolent to those who believe. so don't doubt.
Those who believe, those who don't have faith are screwed. She's going to be ruthless.
We don't know, but just like it's gonna happen. I've talked to it. So I have some friends who are talking to who create chatbots to talk to GPT-3 and even the new Codex engine they built. And this is all OpenAI's project. This is stuff that Elon's talked about. And you couldn't tell me it's not a human. When I chat with it, and the things it tells me and the answers are just it's definitely getting close. Like it's blinking. It's not awake yet, or she's not awake yet, but she's blinking. And so
right.
That's, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm really I've seen stuff that I can't unsee, and AI is very real. It's a very real part of our future that we mostly just do Hollywood films about and joke about right now. But I'm actually taking it really seriously. So
isn't it amazing how YouTube is like the greatest educational tool ever? And we can kind of all have our own channel on there and speak to people directly. Like YouTube's like one of the most brilliant technologies in the world.
It's hard to ignore the power of YouTube. And I mean, even just on allowing anybody to create content and actually monetize that content. And so now you have 13, 14, 15-year-olds who can out earn their ancestors, their parents and stuff. And that's for better or worse. I don't know what that all means, but if you don't know, Clint, that's what I did at Disney. I was in charge of the YouTubers. Like we were helping. PewDiePie was and he was one of the talent we managed. And then all my friends broke off and started these things like with Ryan's World. This YouTuber kid who has And now they have Diana, this new girl, Diane, 80 million followers in months she's created, and she's a phenom, and she's like 6 or 7. It's odd, and it can be used for good or bad. I don't really know. I'm not one to judge, but man, it is a phenomenal piece of technology that has made me question traditional education, made me question what I'm doing with my time. Like if my kids, and TikTok is another one up there. It's like I would rather have my kids making content on TikTok than doing their homework. That's how much I think they can learn if they actually did that. They won't do it. I get mad at them. Like, why are you guys doing TikTok? Why are you reading books and doing homework? You should be doing TikTok right now. I get pissed at them.
That's like the opposite of every parent in the world. That's amazing.
Dude, I'm the worst. Call me the worst parent, but yeah, I've got teenage girls. I'm like, get on TikTok for crying out loud.
Hey, another topic, and this is going to be a hard right turn here that I'd love your thoughts on, and I feel like you've led on really within the Utah startup and tech community, is around the topic of mental health. And because
Yeah.
I've seen some of the leadership you've put into that. What do you think of that? And we lost a mutual friend. You knew her really well, Erin Valenti. I love Erin. She's incredible. Someone who meant a lot to our community, meant a lot to me. I know she meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think about that? I feel like that's a crisis, right?
It is. I got the chills just thinking about Erin. You did such a good, right before COVID, you did such a good shout out to her at the Silk and Slopes event that I'll never forget. And I appreciate you doing that.
Thanks, man.
Incredible what you said. And there's a scholarship set up for her. I mean, she was just a boss. I love that girl. And it's hard to believe she's not here with us. And we don't know for sure. I mean, her death is an unsolved mystery at this point.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it was due to
yeah,
actually, this. You're gonna find this crazy. I don't know if I've told you this. I don't know if I've told anyone this, but I was with Erin the week before she passed. We were at an event together in California, and
oh, you were there. I didn't know
I
that.
was there. Yeah, I was there,
Oh,
and I talked to
wow.
her, and we had lunch with her and all that type of stuff. So it was shocking everything that happened beyond that. But I just think like from a mental health perspective, like we've lost so many people, whether it's through like because of mental health or whatever else the causes are, that comes back and affects all of us. Like trying to go. Like I just lost a really good friend in just like some freak home accident, right? Like,
Oh man. Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, I mean, mental health is we're at least able to talk about it. I'm in the car, and behind me is where my family is currently. I just got out of talking to my therapist, and now my daughter and my wife are there. And that would be like saying that publicly 10 years ago would be like, what the crap? Now I'm like very proud. I love this guy. He's helping my family like communicate, and we have hard times. And like I'm not mentally well all the time. Just as my knee just had surgery, right? I had an ACL accident on a skiing accident. My brain goes through the same freaking injuries. Like when you're doing life at the pace that I'm doing it and we're all doing it, you're gonna have you have need for mental fitness. You have things you got to do, or you're gonna get injured. And I freaking get injured all the time in my brain. Not like brain injury like we would think at football, but like I'm not well lots of the time. And I've tried medication, like even tried Adderall and other things. I didn't like that, didn't help. But like, here's the truth. No one was talking about it when I was growing up. It was a shameful thing, like I
Oh,
was the
for
kid that had to
sure.
have
Yeah.
behavior reports, get sent home with behavior reports. And I was that kid at school that was always in trouble. And I just feel like now you can have this discussion at least, and in a public forum more than ever. And there's companies, startups. I'm invested in one of them. It's called Zenovate, or they just changed their name yesterday. But there are people making companies to actually provide mental wellness at scale. And there's organizations, nonprofits. This wasn't around when we were growing up. Us 80s kids didn't get this stuff.
Yeah, I
So we're
agree.
getting it now before it's too late. But I love the discussion and the forums that are out there finally, so that people, And there's things that people are privately in messaging me. I'm sure you're getting them too. And they're telling me the struggle. And at least they have a place to go to, and they feel like they can ask uh and have a community to like let someone know what they're going through. And I just don't know where they would have gone years and years ago. But now we have social forums and places where people can find community. So
Yeah, I do.
it's a crisis. It's a crisis, but it has more and more support every day too.
Yeah, I agree. I like that it's talked about more. I love that we're all kind of more open to it. But entrepreneurship is so lonely. Like no one, you know this as well as anybody. And I find this fascinating. Like entrepreneurship, like when you're starting out, no one cares what you're doing, not even the people closest to you. Like they're like, yeah, I don't,
Yep.
whatever you're doing, just do it. Or just go find a real job. Like, they're just like, yeah, I don't care. Like, this sounds like it's not going to work. Most of the time is like what the people, even the closest people. And so it's such a lonely journey. And then what's crazy, Scott, is when you succeed and, whatever the measure of success would be, and people start caring about it. That's like a whole jolt as well. Like, I find myself sometimes missing when nobody cared and we could just throw things up at the wall, and against the wall, if it didn't work, we're like, all right, let's just pretend like we never even tried that. Now we can't do that, right? Like now, like people care randomly, and that comes with its own set of things. But there's such a lonely isolation to entrepreneurship that it's really hard. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and that question I have, I don't know any other way, right? I've been entrepreneuring in my brain since I was a kid, and I've been doing it actively for 12, 13 years. I wonder how isolated it is to entrepreneurship, but I feel that my mental health would be just as jeopardized if I was trying to like, I don't know, be a part of a big corporation and just kind of working right in the middle, asking myself every day, what am I doing? What's the purpose behind, I could disappear from this place and it would mean nothing to the organization. At least the startup community, your hand is on the rudder and you move that rudder and the direction of the thing changes. I feel I have some brothers who just recently left ExxonMobil to come work here in Utah at some startups. And every time I'd hear about their jobs, my mental health would be and it was just, I wouldn't be able to do that thing. So I don't know if there's more community in that or safety in the bigger, the ExxonMobil corporation. I don't, it might just be a personality thing, but for all the listeners out there, I think, yes, it is lonely doing, being a founder or CEO of a company, because it's all on you, and it all the good and the bad ends with you. But it's also that helps me with my mental health because I feel this innate purpose in what I'm doing. And so I just don't know if the people that are, I think everyone has to deal across the board, all
Right.
sides of organizations and all sorts of things, with different things that ping their brain all day long and make them wonder, what does it mean to be alive? What am I supposed to be doing right now with this? I know that I trade my labor hours in for money as a human being, but is that all it's about, is doing that till I'm 70? Am I taking labor hours and turning it into some type of currency? Is there something bigger? Is there something I should be doing at those hours? Besides, I don't know. I have so many things that I think that ping my brain, that put me in different mental states. I have to imagine we're all hearing these voices, and and when we stop and listen, that can either make us more mentally healthy or drag us down to dark places.
Oh, for sure. I have to ask you, because I'm just personally curious. What does a
Yeah.
typical day look like for you? Like, what does a day look like for Scott Paul?
I've tried to eliminate, with the use of Volley, I eliminate a lot of my meetings. So I don't have a lot of Zoom. This is the only one today, because I can asynchronously stay in touch with thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Volley, local app. This is their icon on the app as a peace sign, a V. Great team. I love it. That has allowed me to really make a ton of virtual relationships, but really intimate ones, because you see the face, you see the nonverbal cues. that you don't get on a lot of other communication channels. And so I have a lot of relationships internationally, even that I continue to do there, and it's just kind of a volleyball. It's back and forth,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of my day, I would say an hour a day is volley conversations, and then I leave my calendar pretty open, and I like to do a tour of Utah, and I go to Salt Lake, to Sandy, to Lehigh, to Provo, Orem, and back up to my house in Heber. And along the way, I have all these, great companies that I'm a part of that are in the portfolio and I just go and I meet the founders. And so every day I feel like at least 3 times a day I'm doing this tour, just like someone, putting Coke into gas stations with their Coke truck.
Yeah.
I go off and I go through Utah and I visit startups, and I take people to lunch, and I try to make spontaneous events happen, and I love to feed people up at Sundance. And then I love taking the camera with me to highlight all these projects people are doing. And so that is a typical day right now is that. I happen to right now have a Lithuanian friend staying with me who I met a week ago, and I got him and his 3 friends I got to know so well, and they asked, "Can we follow you around, Scott?" So today I got intel. I've got my 24-year-old Saranas from Lithuania who will be checking out some of these cool crypto projects I'm working on.
That's incredible. When you invest, do you do it through a syndicate? Do you just, how do you do that? Or do you have like a fund you've
Mostly
set
just
up?
direct.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I didn't do it right, Clint. Yeah, I didn't do it right, Clint. I just, like I said, right after I sold that first company, I started Hyperactive Capital, but it really just turned into me and my wife. And we just have there's no structure. I take money that I have somehow in my bank account, what little is left, and I try to get in on the deals I love with whatever money I can. And right now I've run out of it all. All of my net worth is in crypto and startups. I don't have any like liquid cash to even live off of, barely. That is how invested I am into this startup community here in Utah.
How does your wife feel about that?
She, I think there's been enough. It's been the hardest thing ever, but she finally realizes, like, I think she finally realizes we're going to be okay in the long run. And secondly, she's kind of got hit by the bug this last 3 months. She got invited to co-found a company that is doing laundry, like DoorDash for laundry.
Oh,
And
cool.
she
That's a
is
great idea.
she's so excited about it. The team is so awesome, and she's a huge advocate. She's kind of helping with the product and the experience. And so now we're both at home on calls with VCs and then founders, and our kids are running around not getting any food, and it's just like, oh, this isn't good.
You need to start
We
a
need some
syndicate,
help.
my friend. You need to start a syndicate.
I
I feel like that would do really well.
I know. All your old buddies are trying to get me in on their syndicates, like the good old Gunderson. Those guys are doing some cool stuff with Beehive. I've got invitations to all these funds, but I just don't.
Oh, those guys are great, but
you
you could do one on your own, man. Just do your own. Do the Scott Paul syndicate.
Does that require organization and like, do I have to open a computer? Because here's the thing, I've been working on my cell phone. Even right now, this is a cell phone. I don't have a laptop that I open anymore. I do all my work from a phone. Yeah. For the last 8 years, I've been on a mobile phone for everything. I mean, there's not much I can't do with DocuSign and so all my investments, everything, just DocuSign. I don't
might
use
be
a
able
phone.
to set it up on your phone. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just
So
have your video guy do
it.
The video guy seems like the most organized guy.
Maybe. Yeah, he's more organized than me, but I feel like when I hear a syndicate, it's just like a lot of like investor relations, spreadsheets, pitch, I got to go make decks. I don't want to open a laptop. So I do work with Landon Ainge. He's been doing a lot for the angel scene. He's kind of got this Assure syndicates. And so you can set up, I'll do SPVs. So if I really like a deal, I'll kind of make an SPV, a special purpose vehicle for a fundraise, which I'll be doing here shortly for the laundry company. That's
a great idea, by the way.
DREE. or boycottlaundry.com. That's where they're sending people. So
Oh man,
it's good. I got to get it for you.
I need to sign up. I actually do need to sign up to this.
Yes,
yeah, dude.
You got 2 free weeks on me. I'm gonna make sure you get that experience on the house.
That's amazing, my friend. Well, Scott, thanks so much for coming on. You got to come on again. I love talking to you. We need to catch up more often. This COVID thing has really put a dent in me seeing really anyone in person as it has everyone. But it's so great to see you.
Yeah.
Love everything you're doing. Love you, man. And come back on.
Love you too, man. Love you too. Let's. I'll come back on a future date, but let's do a lunch, me and you.
I'm in. Thanks, my friend.
I got a tour. I got to go your direction on my tour one day.
Come tour down here. It's awesome.
All right. Thanks, Clint.
Okay. See you, brother.